Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss the poem A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. It will be covered in two parts. This is the first part, and this will be covering the line by line explanation done by Deepshikha ma'am. Moving on.
A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. Before we begin, let's do about the poem. The following is an excerpt from Keats' epic poem Endymion, a Poetic Romance. The poem is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion, beautiful young shepherd and a poet who lived on Mount Latmus, had a vision of Cynthia, the moon goddess. The enchanted youth resolved to seek her out, and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea. Keats has articulated his feelings through the central character Endymion. Line 1 to 5. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bower quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. A bower. A bower here means a shady place under the tree. Moving on. The poet says that beauty stays forever, it never fades away. Rather, it increases with the passing time. The perception of the poet regarding the beauty is that it never wanes away. Rather, the beauty is intensified with the fleeting time. For the poet, beauty is like a beautiful shady tree that gives us a quiet breathing and peaceful sleep, consequently, good health.
We'll now discuss the poetic devices given in the lines 1 to 5.
Now, what are the poetic devices we have from lines 1 to 5? A bower, quiet. The bower here is a metaphor used, a shade.
Moving on to lines 6 to 13.
Therefore, on every morrow are we reading a flowery band to bind us to the earth, spite of despondence, of inhuman dearth, of noble nature, of the gloomy days, of all unhealthy and over darkened ways, made for our searching? Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. Now, here the reading word comes from the word wreath, which means surround, encircling. Morrow here is for tomorrow, we can say next day. Despondence here stands for being depressed, or one can say disappointments.
Moving on to the explanation of these lines.
The poet says that every day it is the beauty which fills us with the spirit to live. It is the beauty which builds the desire in us to live, though there are sad moments and cruel people around us. It binds us to the earth like a flowery band. The poet means that the world lacks noble nature and is filled with people who pursue evil ways. But it is a thing of beauty that uplifts one from the dark spirits and eases the sufferings and sorrows.
We'll be now discussing the poetic devices used in these lines.
The first one we have here is a flowery band, a metaphor used. Now, here it also means transferred epithet. Let me explain you in brief what do we mean by transferred epithet. Epithet stands for adjective, qualifying. So, we are having here the adjective that has been used here, flowery, flowery band. So, one can also say transferred epithet. And the imagery of a flowery band has also been used. Next, we have noble nature, alliteration. I guess you understand that. Gloomy days. Days are gloomy, hence personification. And again we have another transferred epithet, dark spirits.
Moving on to the next lines.
Line 13 to 18. Such the sun, the moon, trees old and young, sprouting a shady boon, for simple sheep, and such are daffodils. With the green world they live in, and clear rills, that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season the mid forest break. Now here the word boon stands for blessing. Coming on to the explanation, the seemingly simple entities of nature, such as the sun, the moon, shady trees old and young, daffodils, the blooming musk rose, simple sheep, clear and sparkling rills that provides respite from the hot summers. Thus, nature gives solace both to mind and body.
Over here, the term clear rills means small streams of water. Moving on to the poetic devices.
The first one we have here is alliteration, cooling covert. Imagery of sprouting shady boon. Sprouting shady, that's the image used over here, that's of the trees.
Moving on to the next lines.
Line 19 to 24. Rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead. Of all lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens' brink.
The term grandeur here means magnificence. Moving on to the explanation.
The poet further carries on with the description of the more beautiful things present on the earth, such as the beautiful musk roses, which have a nice fragrance. Then he describes the tales of the mighty warriors who had laid their lives for their countries or for humanity. Some consider their mighty deeds as a thing of beauty. He says, however, that these beautiful things are the gifts from God for mankind. These things of beauty are like the nectar pouring down on us from the heavens' brink. The eternal joy is a cosmic bliss to the earth.
We'll now discuss the poetic devices used in these lines.
We have heaven's brink. Brink here means the edge. So the whole this heaven's brink is an imagery that has been created here. Next we have is have heard. So that is alliteration. Immortal drink. The drink has been immortalized here, immortal. So adjective has been used differently, hence transferred epithet.
So that is all for this video. We'll be discussing the theme and summary and other aspects of the poem in part 2. Thank you for watching.